Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So many of you enjoy my meal prepping and all of the things that we've whipped up together here on this channel. And something that is key to running a kitchen smoothly is organization. Today we're gonna be tackling my pantry. In case you're totally new here, we did just move very recently. You can go back on the last couple of videos, find out more about that. But to be able to even start into the meal preps that I've been thinking about lately, I feel like I need to have a bit of organization to my pantry because I've been struggling to find things and just have the things at my fingertips that I use often. So if you're familiar with my organization videos, then you know I usually like to show the organization tools first. So I'm gonna flip the camera around. I'm gonna give you a peek of the pantry that is empty. I've got food all over the place that was in boxes, and I'm gonna show you the things we're going to be using to organize the pantry. And I also was able to do this without buying any extra bins. I was able to reuse bins, and that's really exciting for me to keep everything nice and budget friendly. Okay, starting out, I have this nice big pile here. Some of these things I had in my kitchen before. Some are pulled from some other areas that I was using them in our other house. I will do my best to link these things below. I don't know if it's all still available for purchase, but whatever I can, I will do that. These here were from Walmart. I know that for sure. These bins here were from Target. That one I think was thrifted, this big guy back here. And then these over here I think were all from TJ Maxx. So obviously got a good price on them. And then to go along with this, I do also have some chalkboard basket clips and then some chalkboard labels, a few different sizes along with the markers and things like that. I just find it's easier for everyone in the household to help keep everything organized whenever I put labels on things. Labels actually are not my favorite. I love the more like organic, natural look of just the baskets and stuff, but it helps keep the chaos at bay when it comes to trying to keep things in their right compartments. I do have more bins than this. I have some collapsible crates that I'm gonna show you once we get started. I have a Lazy Susan I think we're gonna use as well. Down here you can see I have some other bins. This is some of the contents that go in the pantry, and speaking of the pantry, we're gonna go over here and take a peek. So I am thrilled with this. I don't think I've ever had a pantry this size, along with lots of cabinet space in this kitchen, but this is such a huge storage space, just huge. It has a shelf up here. These shelves are very deep, and then these over here in the corner also go back very deep. The only thing I have in here right now is I put my big, I don't even remember how many quarts it is, but my big, huge pressure cooker back there. My mixer's behind this air fryer, and then I have a crock pot in there. Just kind of a place to tuck all of that big machinery, no, those big things that I use in the kitchen, the appliances. So what I like to do is go ahead and get my layout figured out. So we're gonna put some bins in here and start in on that. I like to lay everything out so that I have an idea of where everything's going to go, at least all of my organizing tools, and then from there I can start categorizing and putting things into bins. I just feel like whenever I have these bins and boxes, I can keep each category in its place and things don't get mixed up quite as much. I love the natural look of baskets and wood if I can. It just brings such a warmth to even a space like a pantry. All right, we're gonna take a quick break to show you all a snack that I've been enjoying and to tell you that Equip is today's video sponsor. I have really been loving this protein. In fact, I shared it with you guys last month as well because it is just something that I think is so flavorful and is so perfect if you are someone that doesn't do well with a lot of dairy proteins or dairy-based proteins. So I'm going to make a little combination here that I've been enjoying a lot. I don't do a lot of dairy in my diet. However, I do eat milk kefir, and that is a more fermented type dairy. It's a lot easier to digest. So I'm going to combine the strawberry prime protein with some plain milk kefir. Since this is sweetened a little bit, it's going to bring that sweet to my milk kefir, and it has such a good strawberry flavor. If I wasn't so busy today, I would get out the blender and put some ice in and kind of make it an ice smoothie, but this is a quicker way of doing it. But I really love Equip's beef isolate protein. They have other flavors like vanilla, peanut butter, and chocolate that I really enjoy as well. So let's put this whole thing together. So why beef protein? Prime Protein is an all-natural grass-fed beef protein that provides the nutrition of 4 ounces of beef, a full 20 grams of clean protein in each scoop. It is made from just a handful of carefully sourced real ingredients. It contains collagen and gelatin that repair your joints and soft tissues, plus promotes the health of your hair, skin, and nails. A huge highlight for me is that Prime Protein doesn't ruin your gut or cause inflammation like whey or casein-based proteins do, which makes a huge difference in my day-to-day gut health and overall well-being. As much as I love the vanilla to put in my coffee, I think that I might be liking the strawberry better. I don't know, it's just so good. I love it so much, and it makes a really quick way for me to get a lot of protein into my busy day. Equip is giving my viewers an incredible offer. Head to my link at equipfoods.com/AdalineZook and use my promo code AdalineZook to get 20% off your first order, or even better, combine this offer with a subscription and get 35% off your first subscription. I wanted to focus on the idea of saving money or doing things on a budget. One of the ways you can do that is by thrifting bins and baskets, which means that not everything's gonna match. You're not gonna have perfect rows of the same bins always. And I think that it looks great. I love the combination of different types of bins and baskets. All right, the afternoon sun is shining in, lighting the way on this project. I wanted to show you guys these really cool collapsible crates. I have used these for the last couple of years. They come in all colors, all sizes. You can get them on Amazon. I bought a huge pack of them and have been using them in different areas of my house for a while. So they're really cool. They come flat like this, and they open up, and then you just pop them into place. The thing that's really nice about them, of course, is you can store them when you're not using them very easily in a very small space, but they also are stackable, and they have handles on either side. They're not sponsoring this at all. I just think they're really cool. And there's a place for a label in the front. So we're gonna pop a couple of these here in this little corner, and it'll just kind of help to fill out the bottom part of this, and I have an idea of what I want to put in here too. I'm honestly so surprised that I was able to find everything I needed within the stuff I already had, that I didn't have to go get anything extra to be able to do this. This was pretty exciting for me. And one thing that I have loved and used for years is gallon jars. The great thing about gallon jars is, number one, they last forever. They're glass, so if you take care of them, they just do really well. And also, I love that it has a wide opening. I'm able to get a measuring cup in and out of them pretty easily. And sometimes, depending on where you live, you may be able to find them for free. I have in the past. If you go to restaurants, sometimes they get their pickles delivered in gallon jars, and many other items they may get delivered in gallon jars. And you can ask if they happen to have any and if they would be willing to part with them. So check out different places, bulk food stores, delis, and other things like that. And you may be able to find gallon jars for free. If not, I'll leave the link for some great ones from Amazon below as well. So I needed to restock a few things. One of those things being some oat flour. And you can buy oat flour in the store, but oat flour is simply oatmeal blended up. So you can throw it in your food processor or your blender, and you have oat flour for a fraction of the cost whenever you buy your oats in bulk like I do, because you are paying very little for those oats to begin with. And plus, I like to get the organic oats from Azure Standard. So I'm also going to have organic oat flour that I know is definitely gluten-free. After I got everything restocked in my gallon jars, I moved on to my half-gallon jars. These don't have quite the same lid. I actually like to use metal lids whenever I can because they generally have a rubber seal on the inside and work really well. So I have some grains and some other baking items in my half-gallon jars, things like cocoa powder and raisins and other things I use a lot for baking. So I needed to restock a few things like my hemp hearts, some rice, and I did get some raisins. I'm missing out on my organic raisins from Costco. It's been a bit since I've made a Costco run, and it's definitely time to do that again. These shelves were wide enough to get 2 gallon jars and or 3 half-gallon jars across them, which is really great. I can store a lot in there. I just need to find a way to kind of mark everything so I don't forget what is behind what on that shelf in particular. So something else that I've realized in my organizing is when I have really small items, I really like the idea of using a Lazy Susan. This doubled one, I believe you can get at Walmart, and can't remember where I picked this one up. I'll have to try to find the link for it for you all. But it works really well for my stevias and my flavorings for baking as well. And I can quickly find what I need and on I go. And I'm not digging through a basket or a bin for those really small things that could potentially spill as well. So being able to leave them standing upright on the turntable is great. Alrighty, so as I was looking through my latch top jars, which is what I'm about to get organized in there, I realized I am out of taco seasoning. So I went and pulled out a bunch of my bulk seasonings that I put into bigger jars when I buy in big bags. So we're gonna go ahead and put our taco seasoning together. We're going to start out with 3/4 cup of chili powder. And this you can kind of adjust the taste. You can do a lot to this recipe. This is just currently what I am doing. So 3/4 cup, I just have a 1/4 cup measure here, and I'm gonna use it for everything in this recipe, the bigger quantities. All right, now we're gonna use a 1/2 cup of cumin. And the way that this works, and I'll leave this typed out in the description box below, I'll leave this recipe below, is you wanna use about 3 tablespoons per pound of beef. If you're making up beef for tacos or in burritos or whatever you wanna use it for, that's the amount you should use for about a pound. All right, so we got our 1/2 cup of cumin. I'm looking at my recipe over here, and we're going to also add in a 1/4 cup of onion powder and a 1/4 cup of garlic powder. And if you guys are wondering, you probably saw these in my rice. Something that I will sometimes do to my dry goods when I'm gonna store them, when I buy them in big bulk, is I have a big bag of these from Amazon. They're called the Dry and Dry, and basically they are moisture absorbers. So for some reason, moisture would get into these dry goods, that would help to absorb them. And I really like to do it for things I know I'm gonna store for a while, like bulk seasonings and things like that. So we got 1/4 cup of onion powder, 1/4 cup of garlic powder. Now we're gonna go with about 8 teaspoons of oregano, which I know could probably be evened out a bit better. I'm sure there's a better measurement for that, but this is just the recipe I've been following. 5, 6, 7, 8. And we need 8 teaspoons of salt. I actually have to grab my salt. And this latch top could actually be refilled as well out of my big bags of salt that I usually get. And then we're going to do 4 teaspoons of paprika. I would prefer to have smoked paprika for this, but I don't have any right now. And so I'm just gonna use regular paprika. Now I'm just gonna take a whisk and kind of whisk this all together. I'm not quite sure if this recipe overfills this latch chop jar. I'm trying to remember exactly how much this makes, but this works so well. And having all of this stuff refilled just excites me so much for all the meal preps we're gonna do here in the next few weeks and beyond. Obviously, I'm just really, really excited about everything. Okay, I'm gonna get my funnel that I had and we're just gonna fill this up again. I don't know if it's all gonna fit in there. I kind of feel like I'm gonna end up putting some into something else, but we'll see. You know what? I'm seeing a few clumps of the chili powder, so we're gonna come back around. I love making my own taco seasoning because then I know there's no added chemicals or anything to it that's unnecessary to bring that great flavor. Obviously, this is why I use this recipe and why I have this jar, because it fills it perfectly. All right, so I'm gonna double check some more of my latch top jars just to make sure nothing else needs to be dug out of bulk storage and refilled. But this is why you're going to see a lot of jars in my pantry. Some people, and sometimes I don't for everything, some people are concerned about my dates on certain things. Almost always we use it before I would ever have to worry about a date, but if I am concerned with a date, I'll just take a little piece of like packing tape and write the date that is the expiration date on the original container, or the date that maybe I filled it, depending on what purpose I need from it. And I'll just stick that across the bottom of the jar so that I have no mix-ups on when something is out of date. The shelf underneath of the one with all of the gallon jars and half-gallon jars, I put my smaller containers. I have a mixture of the swing top lids and just regular quart jars. I love this sort of mixed up look, and you can just use what you have. It doesn't have to all match. It doesn't have to all be perfect. We're going for beautiful, imperfect. I just really enjoy that mismatched look. So below that, I have some baskets, and I like to buy my pasta in bulk. So I will take and put that into Mylar bags to divide it out to be able to use it whenever, however. Pasta in Mylar bags lasts, I think, well over 5 years. So it's a long lifespan, shelf life, I guess would be the right word, for pasta. So this is how I've been storing it, and I thought these baskets worked great to put the individual baggies in. And I usually write on the bags just the type of pasta it is and then how many minutes it should boil. Next to that, I put some gluten-free pasta that's also very gut friendly. I have a lot of things that I'm trying to mend and heal in my health, and so eating gluten-free is mostly what I do. So having some tools in my pantry for that purpose is very necessary for me. So there's a few baskets here that have ingredients and things that are specifically for my dietary needs. And so these packages of noodles is one of those things. And then right next to that, I also put a lot of my specialty ingredients that I use to make certain baked goods for myself, some mixes that I use to make baked goods for myself, just some odds and ends that are special ingredients. Like I mentioned, I needed to fill up my salt canister, so I went ahead and did that. I love to buy the Redmond's real salt in 25-pound bags. The only thing is till you get towards the bottom of the bag, things get kind of clumpy, so I need to take a fork and just really break up the clumps from all of the salt. Don't worry, it goes right back to the great granulated form that it was ground in, but it looks so funny in this video coming out in these big huge chunks. And I went ahead and filled some more ingredients that I needed to in the swing chop jars, and just some things like quinoa. I had some shredded coconut that needed to go into a quart jar that I have my embossed labels on. I like using those in my pantry. I just feel like they look neat and tidy. I also pulled out my gallon jugs of vinegar and refilled a couple of my smaller vinegar bottles that I keep in the pantry. And I really like to get my vinegar in gallon jugs whenever I can, just because it really saves a lot. So you're really getting a good idea of how I sort of manage my bulk food storage, because you all have seen a lot of how I store things in my food cellar and those types of things. But you know, how do you make it work on a day-to-day basis? You're not going to drag out your 5-gallon bucket of oatmeal every day when you need to make oatmeal. Next, I used my embossing labeler. I have a Cricut, you guys, and I still love to reach for this cheap tool whenever I can. I think the last time I checked, it was around $12 on Amazon, and I just think it looks really cute. It looks a little bit retro, and at the same time, it's nice and tidy and gets the message across for what you need, and it's so easy to use. You can just pull it out and you don't have to plug it in. There's no special software or app or anything for it. It's just ready to go. Along with that, I'm using my basket clip labels that are chalkboards, and I love these things. I'm probably gonna say that a couple of times in this video, but I really love these things because all it takes is a little bit of water on a cloth and you can wipe that chalk marker right off and relabel, and it's no fuss, no mess, super, super simple. So up here on the top shelf, I just have a few odds and ends, some cheesecloth for whenever I'm doing fermented things, and some baking odds and ends and some other things. I just went through popping the labels onto the bins and baskets. We do have a separate area in our kitchen that we have our seasonings or spices and herbs, but we do like to use some spice blends, so I needed an extra bin just for that in the pantry. Down on the bottom, I have some squash. I've been in such a spaghetti squash mood lately, and so Aldi had them for a really great price, and I picked up a couple of them to make on these cold winter days. If you all remember how I had these cotton market bags in my last kitchen, I did store my onions in them. I feel like my onions last so long in them. I'll leave them linked below. Amazon has some great ones. And I just think they look so pretty. I love the way that they kind of bring a nice cottage farmhouse feel to this pantry. All right, this was quite a undertaking today. I did not anticipate it taking quite as long as it did, but I'm so happy with the results. I feel like I'm going to be able to cook out of this and be able to find everything. And it was really good to do a lot of refilling, restocking, and just that type of thing. So most of this, you all saw what is in it. Up here at the top, I actually don't have anything in either of those baskets, which I love it when I complete an organization project and still have wiggle room somewhere, because there's always bound to be something else come along. This here, I'm super happy with, other than I'm not quite sure about remembering what is behind here all the time. I thought about using my little embossing label maker to put some labels on the back of that piece of wood back there, just to be able to remember what's behind there. Might help me out a bit when I'm looking for something. Over here, I can pretty much see everything that is in here, and I really, really love just the mixture of jars. I may have said that already, but I just love the different heights and different types of jars. I think it just gives it a very eclectic, homey feel. It's imperfect, which I think has been repeated in this video many times, is that it doesn't always have to match and be perfect to still be beautiful. It can be imperfect. It can be jars you collect from different thrift stores, different secondhand shops. Maybe somebody on Facebook Marketplace has some canisters and jars. You can mismatch them and they can still look just lovely. And so back here in the corner, I still have lots of space behind here if I needed to put things in. And I love this little random ledge that whoever created this pantry decided that we're gonna just finish this shelf out here. So it's a fun little spot to put things like those jars. And then obviously the Lazy Susan here, Lazy Susan here, love all of that. This back here just has extra pasta. It's a nice big basket that I thrifted. And then the pasta here, everything here. I also have a couple spots. This basket in particular is for project things. So we are heading into some holiday season where we're doing holiday baking for other people and things like that. That's why this bin even exists at the moment. So it's a chocolate chip and marshmallow bin. This is not something we're going to have on a regular basis, I can tell you that right now, but I have a bunch of bulk big bags of chocolate chips in there because of doing holiday baking and things like that. So that will get cleared out. I'll be able to just erase that. Love how flexible these labels are. They erase very easily, and you can just mark them up again with whatever you need. And this is another miscellaneous spot. So we have got breadcrumbs in here, but also miscellaneous things can go in there. So this is kind of what I'm labeling as my project bin. There is some powdered sugar in here for the upcoming baking. And then I also need to can some more beans. So I have a bunch of dried beans in here to remind me that I need to get that done. So this is probably just going to be like a holding spot for lots of things like that. And then this is for just like potatoes and any other type of dry storage you would have for vegetables and things like that. And then this is also a flex space as well, just for extra condiments and other things. Even some of my canned goods from the cellar. I can store some in here just to be used up, and I don't always have to be running down there, which is so nice to have extra room for something like that, because I did not have that in the previous house. But overall, the hard work it took today to get this restocked feels like it's paying off. I cannot wait to meal prep with you all in this pantry. be able to grab things as I am showing you recipes and things like that. I'm just absolutely thrilled. So if you're new here, I hope that you hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me today. Leave me comments below. Let me know what you're working on right now in your home. Give this video a like, and I'll see you all in the next video.